How's it going, guys? Got another land battle replay for you. This time it'll be Captellus on the Dark Elves up against Golden Floof on Nurgle. Now, for the Dark Elf side, we do have Crone Hellebron on her chariot with Fury of Cain, Gaze of Cain, and her item, the Cursed Blade, that just small mortis engine, plus blood shield of Cain, granted that 5% fizz res. Thought I hit slow down, but not bad. Up front, we're going to have some fairly elite infantry, 2 Harganeth Executioners, some Witch Elves as well, 3 in total with another Harganeth Executioner in the back line. We do also have a Charybdis, pretty cool unit, as we saw with that Ricard game against Tomb Kings. Going to be dealing with possibly any Toad Dragons, any, what else? Yes, Chaos Knights, Plague Toads, etc. So, gonna be pretty good here. Then, of course, Nurgle doesn't really have any missiles aside from their throwing axes, which aren't typically brought. That can be used. That'll be used again. That can be used to punish the Charybdis. Start with there. We also have a Blood Rack Shine Medusa. Does have that new and improved missile over the Medusa, which is a lot better against infantry. Hits entities in a model. Hits models in a unit a lot better, and it's a pretty good unit overall. It's just that missile was always not great. It just wasn't really worth it most of the time. But yeah, with its new missile change plus the auras that I already had, Aura of Agony and Aura of Ardor, which both buff your own allies and debuff the enemy, it should be a pretty fantastic unit in this matchup. And again, Nurgle should really have a lot to punish it. We also have a Sorcerer of Death for the caster with Doom and Darkness and Spirit Lich. She is on a pony with the Darkstar Cloak for that recharge rate. Nurgle side, we do have Tamurkhan on foot. This is where you're going to see him most likely on foot, is because the Toad Dragon mount, it's just not all that great. It's a cool unit, but it's just not that competitively viable. And he's just really good on foot. Black Cleaver is going to be buffing all of his allies with granting them magical attacks, plus all these weapon strength debuffs and melee attack buff. I said debuff, but I meant buffs. Now, you know what I mean. Marauders up front with a whole bunch of little Nurgling popcorn units. Backline, we have some Plague Ogres as well. Great anti-infantry unit there with that heavy AP. Chaos Warhounds in the flank with some more Chaos Knights and also some Rot Knights as well. I've seen some mixed results on these guys, but they should do theoretically well in this matchup if they don't get hit by any Dark Shards, which luckily the Dark Elves haven't brought. They haven't brought a lot of missile units, so theoretically they might do okay, especially against that Charybdis. We also have the Sorcerer of Nurgle with Fleshy Abundance and Stream of Corruption. Let's get right into it. Right off the bat, we do have these little popcorn buddies getting shot and taking a bit of damage here and there from that missile unit on both the Blood Rack Shrine and Crone. The Blood Rack Shrine just runs through those Nurglings, just taking wow, they took a tremendous amount of damage. Spirit Lich dropped on top of Tamurkhan. Yeah, those Nurglings are already going into crumbling state. Witch Elves are going to get on top of these hounds, stopping them from getting into their back line. You'd have the Witch Brew popped as well. Those hounds are just going to get absolutely deleted here. Harganeth Executioners are just a terrible matchup for those poor little Nurglings, though we are going to have some Plague Ogres to support. Chaos Warhounds coming around on the flank as well. Plague Ogres coming over here to stop Crone Hellebron and her tracks in with the Blood Rack Medusa, and they should theoretically be able to do a decent chunk of damage into her if they can get her to stop for just a moment. Witch Elves get hit with that Fury of Cain, bringing up to 62 melee attack and 59 weapon strength. So even if they are better against infantry, they will do a lot of damage to Tamurkhan. He doesn't have a whole lot of armor, 60, so he can and only 42 melee defense, so he can get pretty messed up here. Charybdis also has been beefed up by the Gaze of Cain. We have that Gaze of Cain popped by Hellebron. bringing them up to 626 weapon strength with 86 melee attack. Yeah, that Cryptus is going to beat down on those Plague Ogres given the chance. The charge from those Chaos Knights and from those Plague Ogres, those Hargonef Executioners are going to have a horrible, horrible time and actually going to get butchered. Yeah, as you can see, Tamurkhan is having an awful, awful time. He might die here. And does he actually have his Feast of the Maggot Lord? So if he does get down to that low HP, or rather if he hits 0 HP, he will either take down the Sorceress of Death with him, or depending if the Dark Elf player notices, will pull the Sorceress out and only do a little bit of damage to the Crone Hellebron. Not a little bit, but a decent amount. Not killing her though. Rot Knights catch the Witch Elves along with the help of the Chaos Knights. Obviously, they're going to take the Witch Elves to Pound Town. Those Witch Elves, unfortunately, have no armor and terrible melee defense, so they're going to have a tough time, and there they go. They are gone. Chaos Warhounds as well are just getting butchered by the Hargonef Executioners. Sorceress of Death is gone, routed off by Tamurkhan. Tamurkhan is having a awful time. He does pop the Black Cleaver, however, buffing up all these units around, including these little Nurglings, bringing them up to 48, 33, and 30. Which is pretty funny. I think they would even possibly beat Bleak Swords with those stats. Witch Elves chasing off these Marauders. Hargonef Executioners are having a tough time here. Tamurkhan is also being chased by the Cryptus, and obviously he's not going to enjoy that. Cryptus is going to back off, however, because the Rot Knights are coming over, and you don't want to keep that Cryptus in that engagement. Even if the Cryptus is a fantastic fighter, yeah, those Rot Knights do have anti-large AP, and I'm not gonna want to. That unit's not gonna want to be surrounded there. Just a big old blob fight going on right now, really. Crone Hellebron just in this engagement, slowly whittling these guys down with her Mortis Engine. At least I believe so. What is her Mortis Engine proc? There it goes. Is it a what is it proc actually? I mean, let me check really quick. Let's see. Affects unit if losing melee combat. So they have to be losing their melee combat against Crone Hellebron to be taking that Mortis Engine debuff. So I actually really like that. But that's probably also why it's not used all that much, or rather Crone Hellebron isn't used all that much, because you have to actually be winning your engagement for it to activate instead of just activating on its own right away. Tamurkhan hit with some healing, I believe, bringing him up to 3,600. He is reaching his heal cap. We have another Keys of Cain pop. Tamurkhan is going to be real danger here, though. If he's fighting two Blood, if having to do with both of these Blood Shrines, I mean, one is enough. He could probably fight one on by himself, but yeah, he's taking so much damage here. These buffs to these Hargonef Executioners bring them up to 75 melee attack with 46 weapon strength, and up to 82 now, actually, from Murderous Mastery as well. They will butcher these Plague Ogres and Marauders, though obviously they're going to be taking a lot of damage as well with these Rot Knights in here and those that Plague Ogre weapon strength. Tamurkhan is possibly going to fall here, 149. Crone Hellebron, Dark Elf player, noticing, is going to try to take Crone Hellebron out, I think. Though, we actually do have the Feast of the Maggot Lord popped. I haven't actually seen this in game before, and she does take a lot of damage. My god, that is a lot of damage. But that heals up Tamurkhan, or at least it should. At least it did. I think it did. Yeah, it already did. But he's just taking so much damage to the point where it didn't really even matter, and he's dead. He's gonna die here. 126, 151. Another hit, something from the Rot Knights, or rather from the Charybdis. But he actually escapes there with 127 HP. Yeah, the item he had before was a lot more brutal before they changed it in the actual live release. That could have done a tremendous amounts of more damage to the Crone Hellebron, but luckily it didn't. Rot Knights flee off. They only have 2,900 HP left with 20 models. Plenty of room left for healing, though we do have a Fleshy Abundance thrown on top of Tamurkhan. I think I would have rather thrown it on the Rot Knights. But 1,000, 1,400, 1,500 HP Tamurkhan isn't too shabby. He can possibly deal with this Crone Hellebron. We'll see. He's going to get a rear charge from that Crone Hellebron and another missile attack to his flank as well. Down to 960 HP. He's going to probably actually end up dying here, depending, though. We do have the Rot Knights coming over to support. Black Cleaver Pop bringing them up to 80, actually 68 weapon strength. I was looking at Tamurkhan with 66 weapon strength. So they should theoretically put a dent into Crone Hellebron and stopping her in her tracks. Tamurkhan comes back in. That is a very, very risky play by Nurgle. That could very much spell doom there for Nurgle. But to be fair, the balance of power is already in the Dark Elf's favor, so they are taking chances, though Tamurkhan does die there. And that's going to start the end for Nurgle. So big old blob fight. Don't typically love casting these types of fights, simply because it's a very stagnant view of gameplay that the players are getting, or that the viewers are getting. But I was super interested to see how Crone Hellebron and her Bloodwrack Shine would do against Tamurkhan and his goons, or rather his gang of Plague Ogres. For the Dark Elves, we do have 2,700, almost 2,800 value on Crone Hellebron. She did fantastic there. I haven't seen her do so well in quite a while. Though to be fair, she's just not brought that often, because you typically are going to see in competitive matches a sorceress on a black dragon, or say even just like Malekith, or maybe even Malice. But nonetheless, yeah, she did fantastic there. Although the buffing, and just like she was destroying a lot of the infantry on the Nurgle side. The Nurgle infantry had no chance with her and the Bloodwrack Medusa going in. Speaking of the Bloodwrack, they got 600 value. It didn't really pay for itself, but in a different in retrospective, like in terms of its buffs, I would say it paid for itself just in that sense, because when you're buffing these elite infantry units like the Argonautic Executioners, and you're buffing, say, Crone Hellebron and the Cryptis, you're providing a lot of value, a lot of damage potential that could be done, and as you can see, it proved to be worth it. Another good showing from the Cryptis, 1,200 value there. I think the Cryptis is 1,300. But you might correct me, 1,300, 1,400? I think it's 1,300. So almost paid for itself, but it did good. Even picking up a chevron there, just beating down on Tamurkhan, even fighting with the Chaos Knights, Plague Ogres, just did a lot of work there. Yeah, the Argonautic Executioners did fantastic. Wow, 1,100 value, practically 1,200, and 2,300 value on this one. My God, I'm not sure what they were butchering. Probably just everything. I'm just gonna guess everything. Even fighting the Plague Ogres, they probably did fantastic with all those buffs from Hellebron. I mean, I'm super happy to see them do well. I wasn't sure how it would go with with these Plague Ogres and the charges from the Rot Knights and the Chaos Knights. These did okay. Unfortunately, they got kind of ran over, rather singled out. I think these were the ones on the right-hand flank that got ran over by 2 or 3 different units. Sorcerer got picked off fairly early. I don't even think I saw any spells casted by the Sorceress. Probably missed out on a lot of those. 1,400 value on these Witch Elves. They were doing good there, making sure to stop any charges from these Chaos Warhounds. I mean, yeah, those Chaos Warhounds, they had an awful time. As soon as the Witchbrewers popped, the Chaos Warhounds were gone like that. Tamurkhan, 2,000 value there. I mean, to be fair, yeah, he beat down on the Sorceress, routing her off fairly early. He even getting some hits into both the Crone and the Cryptis, and maybe even the Bloodwrack Shrine. So he still did fantastic, as you can see on foot. And of course his item. I don't know if his item counts towards the value. I'm guessing so. So that also could have been a good chunk of his value as well. And then of course we're not counting the buff from the Black Cleaver, which is a really good item, turns out. I did not expect it to be. 687 value on the Sorcerer Lord. Of course, he just healed. He's just a heal bot. All I'm born to do is heal. Poor me, poor me. 1800 value on the Rot Knights. 1000 value on the Chaos Knights. Yeah, Rot Knights had a good showing as well. Good, nice. I think they're fairly expensive though. Maybe 1800. That's hard. I'm probably way off because, again, I haven't used them, and two, I've barely seen them maybe once or twice in replays. So, but still really good showing there. 1800 value, and yeah, they were fairly detrimental there for helping deal with those Hargonath executioners. Though they just didn't have the right engagements to get on top of both both of these shrines, because they needed to get on top of those shrines, but they still had good engagement nonetheless. Yeah, they were like the one answer to these two units, though of course the Cryptus is not gonna take it lying down. 1000 value, as I said. 1100 value on the Plague Ogres. As I said, they're really good, especially against more heavily armored factions or factions that are expected to bring some more costly infantry units. And to be fair, you typically wouldn't expect Hargonath executioners in this matchup, I believe. So they just had kind of at least this one had a field day there. This one did fine. Everything else did okay. Poor little Nurgling popcorn units. This one got literally 25 value. Good game nonetheless. I'll catch you guys next time with another one. Bye bye.